But now, filling out with a back screen becomes a natural way to get your teammate open as well. Adding back screens after the basket cut is also my way of telling the players, you've had your chance to score, now be unselfish and give a teammate a chance to score. Don't hog the lane. If the pass didn't come during your basket cut, then leave the lane quickly and with a purpose. If you jog your way out of the lane, your defender will have a tendency to remain in help position and clog up the lane. If you fill out with a purpose, your defender will sense that something's going on and follow you out instead of remaining to help. And that's what we want him to do. But setting a back screen is not an entirely unselfish act. If you want to spring yourself open for a three-point shot, then set a good one, force the defenders to guard the cutter, and then shape up for the three-point shot.
How the back screen option solves problems.
Setting a back screen while filling out also solves a problem. Sometimes players make mistakes and fill out to the wrong side where there are no empty spots. I know that's hard to believe, but sometimes it happens. If it does, there's no need to panic, turn around, and vacate that side of the floor. Just set a back screen and take your teammate's place. In fact, players should view the back screen as a means to take someone's place on the perimeter. As an example, if your great post player is stuck on the perimeter, then set a back screen for him to get him inside. The defense might even switch, and you've created a big on little mismatch inside. Also, if you're in the process of setting a back screen and the teammate you're setting it for receives a pass, consider the following before you run away thinking you've made a mistake. First of all, he may want to use the back screen and will immediately pass in order to use it. If that's the case, then just wait. It will become the best situation for a back screen because his defender will momentarily relax when he passes, or he'll jump into denial position. Either way, he's a prime candidate for a successful back screen. Also, this situation might be a good time for a ball screen if that's part of your team's arsenal. Let the ball fake one way, wait for the adjustment by his defender, then choose your angle and work the pick and roll.
Two-player read and react habit.
Here's the two-man read and reaction habit for this layer. Pass, basket cut, and set a back screen as you fill out. Your teammate will be watching the ball. You've got to get his attention. Call his name and yell back screen. I don't care if the defense hears. If you don't get your teammate's attention, you'll look pretty foolish standing there waiting.
How to set the back screen.
Set the back screen by getting your feet in the air and landing on both. This serves two purposes. One, you're less likely to get an illegal screen called on you if both feet are firmly planted before contact is made by the defender. Second, timing is everything, and to get the right timing, my rule is the cutter cannot use the screen until he or she hears your feet hitting the ground. This keeps the cutter from going too soon. Also, hearing you yell back screen and waiting for your feet to hit the ground will give your teammate time to set up his defender. If the defender moves, then you can adjust the angle of your back screen. As an added advantage, you've approached the defender from the best angle possible directly behind him. The defender is blind from this angle.
Three-player drills to build two-player reaction habits. Pass, cut, back screen. Back screen, three-point option. Layer 9, multiple staggered screens.
Once all 5 players get in the act of passing, cutting, and back screening, you'll notice opportunities for multiple screens. In the beginning, they'll occur mostly by accident rather than by design. Here's how it happens. One of your players will pass and make a basket cut or receive a back screen and begin to basket cut, only to see a teammate cutting through the lane as well. Typically, the cutter thinks he's done something wrong and will stop his cut. But what he's actually stopped is a chance to set or use a second staggered screen. Be sure at this point to encourage your players to finish their cuts regardless of what the traffic looks like. Nothing's wrong. We're going to turn what looks like lemons into lemonade. Let's look at how this occurs in detail. Number 1 passes to number 2. Basket cuts, fills out away from the ball, and sets a back screen on number 3. In the meantime, number 2 has already passed the ball and is finishing his basket cut with the same intention, to fill out away from the ball. Number 3 is the lucky recipient of this accident. Number 3 receives a back screen from number 1 and finds a second staggered screen courtesy of number 2. Now, here's a unique thing about the read and react system. Number 2 might not even be aware that he's providing a second staggered screen for number 3. In fact, even number 3 might not spot the second staggered screen. It doesn't matter. The defender of number 3 must still get through 2 staggered screens. Let's look at number 2's screen. Eventually, he'll be aware that he's providing a second screen and perhaps even stop to provide a traditional pick. But in the beginning, when he's still learning, his pick is more or less a brush screen, but it's still effective. If any cutter can simply run his defender off his teammate, whether that teammate realizes it or not, an effective screen has been set.
Unplanned multiple staggered screens.
Watch how easy it is to get 3 staggered screens. For the smart cutter who can see these screens developing, there's a lot of scoring options waiting on him. As the cutter's basketball IQ goes up, he or she can be taught how to play off these screens depending on how they're defended. I'll not go into all the ways they can be defended and the corresponding offensive counters, but you can get them from the last chapter of our video, Scoring Without the Ball. I mentioned earlier in the video that the read and react system allows different levels of players to play together without hindering the better players. Let me use this layer to illustrate. Let's pretend players 1 and 2 are high-level players who can spot, use, and score off multiple screens. But players 3, 4, and 5 are still learning. All they know how to do is pass, cut, and set an occasional back screen. Players 1 and 2 can use the back screens and basket cuts of players 3, 4, and 5 without being on the same mental page, skill level, or even the same teaching level in the read and react system. Some of the good basketball you'll see will be by design, but some of it will be by accident. But who can tell, and furthermore, who cares? What if you're using a 4-out, 1-in set? No problem. When a back screen is set on a perimeter player, the cutter is guaranteed a second staggered screen by the post player, whether the post player recognizes it or not. If the post is on the same side of the court as the back screen, then the second screen is